I'm Jackie Aina. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know how you got here, but I'm hoping you'll stay and subscribe. So I'm a beauty blogger, beauty guru, and as you guys know, we get lots of PR. We've been through this before. I've done videos like this before, but I don't know if you're new here. This is kind of like a more formal intro, more formal welcome. I'm gonna be using a full face worth of brand new makeup and beauty products. I've partnered with one of the brands for this video. This is very unusual, but I've partnered with this brand. I can't tell you the brand yet, but I will in the future. There's going to be a link in the info box if you want a little bit more info. It is the brand behind the Wowder. It's not a powder. Wink, wink. Of course, the first thing I thought was this is a complete gimmick. Bye, girl. When they told me that, and then I tried it, and I was like, oh, okay, I totally get it now. So anyway, I'm going to be demonstrating that product as well as some new PR products that I have got. Actually, a lot of this stuff is actually stuff that I bought. I would say about half of the stuff is stuff that I bought. A lot of high-end luxury. If you're not into high-end luxury products, then click out this video. Most of the stuff is stuff that's a little bit on the higher price range, but you know, I like to bring a little bit of everything here on the channel. The first thing that I've already done a little bit of off camera because I was looking super shiny, super Crisco-ish, is I applied the Natasha Denona Magic Primer. Casey Holmes, shout out to you, girl. I hear her raving about this primer. I didn't prime all of my face. I only primed the center of my face, but I have oily skin. Casey has oily skin, and as expensive as Natasha's stuff is, I rarely hear anyone say anything bad about her stuff. So I'm gonna give that a go. I have like mixed reviews about primers. Sometimes I think you should splurge, sometimes I think you shouldn't. I think it ultimately just depends on what your skin is like and what it reacts to. I bought this Burberry, what's it called? Burberry Cashmere Long Lasting Flawless Soft Matte Foundation and Sunscreen SPF 15. Burberry, can you keep it cuter? Can we just say foundation? Can we just say liquid cover or something cute? Because that was a long title and your girl already talks fast enough. I'm gonna need you to just, you know, tone it down a little bit. Anytime I see something that's high-end luxury and it actually comes in my color, I'm automatically intrigued. If I need more coverage, I'm gonna build up. This is my, I forgot to do the powder. Oh, I forgot that I wanted to powder first. I can't tell you the company that makes the Wowder, okay? I can't tell you anything about that. I'm gonna be working with two shades today. I have Rich and then I have Dark Deep. Now when I first saw Dark Deep, I automatically was like, this is gonna be too light. Okay, doesn't she give you like a sand? Isn't she giving us like a copper tan, like a sandpaper? Nope, I was wrong. These powders are quite darker than they look. Basically, they're designed to set the makeup. They control oil. They are mattifying. They help with long wearing of the makeup, but these do not respond the same way other powders do, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So the brand recommends that you can use this with the Wowder brush, but I'm going to press this into my skin with the Beauty Blender. Now be very aware, the center part is kind of like that mesh material. If you aren't paying attention, this will explode everywhere, so you have to be really careful. So I'm not going to press too hard. I'm going to get a light layer of that powder, and Wowder. I'm gonna get a light layer and press that into my skin. Now the one thing that I will say is this is a very neutral powder. It's not pink or red. It's definitely not yellow golden. It's somewhere in the middle. If you want to use this as a powder foundation, you have to be very neutral. I wouldn't be able to get away with using this on its own. I don't think. It's just not enough. It's not enough warmth, but I love using this to set my makeup. I know it sounds so gimmicky. You use it in the same way that you would use a powder, but one thing that's really cool that I noticed about this is you can actually apply this and like spread it. I find that when you do something like this and spread it out with regular powders, they completely break up. Like this almost kind of moves like a foundation, but not really. I first tried it and I was like, girl, if y'all don't get yo. And then I tried it and I was like, oh my God, please tell me how to use this product because I don't want to do this wrong and I don't want to mess this up. Three colors that it comes in are light medium, deep dark, and then rich. Slightly sloppy application, I know, but because I'm putting foundation on top of that, I never really go into great detail. You know, just a little lazy, just slap that on there. Okay, we're gonna go back to the Burberry foundation now. We had to derail a little bit earlier. I don't know what it is about me and first impressions tutorials when I have to like do something, but I'm going to a barbecue, a little backyard boogie, and I'm hoping that this makeup doesn't look crazy. So far I'm finding the coverage of the Burberry foundation is medium. Did I tell you the color is chestnut? The color is Chestnut, number 60. The color is pretty golden. I think I may be the darkest shade though. I'm never gonna be happy about that. And the thing is, like, a lot of times I make comments and remarks about how brands don't create foundations that are dark enough. And usually the counter argument is people say, well, darker people don't buy as much. Well, people aren't gonna buy your product if you're not marketing it to them. Like, it's very simple. Like, if you just had a banging ad campaign that was inclusive, you know, if you pushed your deep dark products just as much as you did your medium tans, maybe more of the deeper darker clients will come and spend that coin. It's not that they're not spending money, they just are spending money on the brands that are more visible to them. Like, why do you think brands like Sasha and Black Up and Black Opal, brands that are exclusive to women of color, are still thriving? They may not be thriving as much as like a Tarte or like a other brand, but they're out there, you know. Even Lancome, they're making those shades that other people are skipping out on. Like, how do you think they're making money? By having Lupita Nyong'o as their spokeswoman? I'm just saying. Okay, so far, this is supposed to be full coverage. Well, it says flawless soft matte foundation. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean full coverage or whatever. So far, it's pretty nice. It does feel pretty matte. I'm going to try not to overload because sometimes I feel like when you put, as I put more foundation, sometimes I feel like when you put on too much foundation, it makes me more oily. So I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna fall back. So far, I think this looks really good. This reminds me of like the kind of foundation that you would use for like a red carpet. We will come back to our Wowder shortly, but in the meantime, I have this Tom Ford concealing pen in the color Deep. I'm a little bit afraid that this might be a little too deep for a highlight color, but I'm gonna try it out anyway. Oh, it's actually perfect. Perfect! So it's quite thick and quite creamy. I've only swatched this a few times. This reminds me a lot of that Maybelline, the one that everyone here on YouTube uses, and it kind of has that same push up into a cushion applicator. But that one from Maybelline doesn't come in my shade, so you know, I think this might be the next best thing, just like $1 million more. So I'm gonna highlight my chin, my chinny chin chin. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that color. Okay, Tom Ford, now just add more shades. That's what you can do. That's what you can do for me. What I'm actually really liking the way that this color looks with the Burberry foundation. They're probably like they're a match made in heaven. Very matte. Ooh, I should have worked a little quicker, girl. It's okay though, because you know what? If you ever feel, starting to separate. I'm gonna re-wet my sponge. She's getting a little dry. She might have clocked out a little bit early. Let's go get her back on the shift. Okay, Tom. You did not come to play, I see. So what you do is if you let it dry too long, you just roll. That's all. Just roll that beauty blender. Yeah, this concealing pen looks really good, but I probably wouldn't recommend it to newbies just because if you're not really comfortable with blending, like I don't think you'd know what to do. So just an FYI. Yeah, girl, that's a tough one. That's tough to blend, even for me. So lesson learned. That whole drying down technique doesn't work with every concealer. Now I know to move just a little bit quicker. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my Wowder in the color Deep Dark, even though she looks a little tan. And all you need is the tiniest amount for under eye. So I'm going to use this in the same way I would a translucent powder. This Wowder is very cooperative. Once you lay it down, it stays put. It ain't going nowhere. So I already went into my brows, and then I'm gonna take my Smashbox Photo Lid Primer. I've been using this a lot lately. I use the color Dark, and then I think they have one that's just slightly lighter than that. I use both of them, but I already packed the other one, so I'm just gonna use Dark today. Now I'm blending that out with a fluffy brush, probably because these nails, I can't get into any crevice or any tight space with these nails. I bought this, I want to say well over a year ago. This is also from Tom Ford, the Eye Quad in number 4 in the color Honeymoon. I don't necessarily think you have to splurge on Tom Ford shadows if you don't want to, but I do really like the color combos that he comes up with. So I'm gonna be using that today. It's my first time. She's been sitting in my drawer neglected for a long time. And it's about time I got my hands on it and finally used it. And as you can see, my dress is kind of like an olivey taupe, and I'm kind of feeling like that color scheme is gonna be popping with today's outfit at the backyard barbecue, woo woo. So I don't even know exactly what I'm going to do, but I want it to be really simple. We all know what that means. Okay, so I'm gonna take that dark color there. Like I'm telling you, I'm probably gonna be the most like extra person at this party, so I'm really not trying to do the most. Like, how do you do the most without really doing the most? You know, like I should do a tutorial titled doing the most without really doing the most, because this for me is gonna be very, very, very simple. But I know that for other people, that's gonna be like, oh, you wearing so much makeup. Oh. So I'm just concentrating that color on the outside areas. And then with my finger, I'm gonna swipe a bit of this one onto my lid. Now, when you're using shimmers, you have to kind of put your base back on, because that powder trick works better underneath matte shadows, but sometimes it kind of blows out when you use shimmer. Now I'm using a wet brush in the shadow and applying that over, cleaning up the edges with a little bit of bronzer. The shadow palette was very passable. I feel like the color quality, I like the color combo, but the quality was The shadows are a little dry, so I just don't feel like you get the color payoff you want. But you know what, something I definitely noticed about like higher like top tier brands like Tom Ford and even like Lancome, I feel like they don't really put a ton of pigmentation into their shadows. Most of those lines are targeted to the more mature demographic, and by this I don't mean old, I mean like mature, like more established, more the working woman or male, you know, like definitely not a younger straight out of high school. Like it's not checking for Tom Ford like that. I feel like a lot of the more mature demographic isn't necessarily looking for something that has something like Colourpop payoff. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? That's just something that I've noticed. I don't know, is it just me? Like I feel like the higher end brands, like they could be more pigmented, but I feel like they purposely make their colors softer to suit more, just to suit different age groups. Okay, so I added lashes off camera because that's just how life goes sometimes. And I'm gonna take the Wowder in the shade Rich. I'm gonna try this as a bronzer today. I've never done that before, but feeling a little frisky. Okay, so with my brush, because it's nice and pointed and tapered, I'm gonna take a bit of, I'm gonna tap a lot of it off because I don't know what this is gonna look like, but if you actually turn the brush on its side and use the fat half, it makes a really nice, I guess this is more like a contour because it's pretty neutral. There's definitely not a ton of warmth in these Wowders. That's a nice shade. Ooh. Rich is really rich. You know it's rich when it's dark enough for me to contour. Let's add bottom mascara. Base is looking flawless, but it's gonna get better. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Danessa Myricks Illuminating Veil. Danessa Myricks reminds me a lot of like Natasha Denona, but like not as expensive. They're just both equally talented, both very creative. And what I like about both of their brands is they're just, you know, they're coming out with cool new stuff, like stuff we're not seeing a lot of on the market. This is the color Desire. I think this will kind of play up like the red burgundy colors that we're wearing today. Can't really see how red it is on camera, but it's like a copper. Work quickly because these do set and dry down, so be very cautious. They're definitely smudge and budge proof. And then I'm gonna get even more creative and put a little bit onto my eyelid just to kind of spice up the look a little bit. That's so pretty. Yes. Oh, that is bomb. I just keep piling this on more and more, and it just keeps getting prettier. How do I walk away? Oh my god. Well, I feel very glowy. You know what's a nice word for today's look? Infused. I feel glow infused. And then the last thing we're gonna do is add the Color Fix. This is Danessa's 24-hour. I was a little confused about this product. I couldn't tell if it was for the eyes or for the lips. I'm pretty sure it's a lip product. I saw this on her Instagram and it looked bomb. It looked like a pretty like toffee coffee color. The color I'm using is Coffee Cake, by the way, and it comes in a little jar situation, so I'm just gonna apply this with a lip brush. Ooh. Oh, that's so pretty. It's very creamy. Okay, so here's Kay from Colourpop. This also comes in a clear gloss, so I'm gonna add some gloss on top. I'm just recreating the look that I saw on her Instagram because it was banging, so don't mind me. Ooh, I like this color, and I feel like it actually got a little darker when I added gloss. How'd you guys like the new stuff? Tell me what your favorite product was. Thank you so much to the brand that shall not be named with collaborating with me to introduce the Wowder. I have used this I think this is my 4th time using it. I tested it several times before we agreed to actually do this video, and I'm definitely happy to say I'm a fan. I approve. Yeah, this was fun, getting dressed up and playing first impressions. Let me take off my headband. So far, I think I was the most impressed with all the complexion stuff, including the Wowder. The Burberry foundation I think was beautiful. Beautiful finish, set beautifully. I was pleasantly surprised with the Tom Ford concealing pen. I think it worked really well. I already have my opinions about the Wowder because I've been using it literally all week, and I think it's fly. And I'm also kind of happy I found a new way to use it as a contour powder. I think I was the least impressed with the Tom Ford eyeshadow palette. It's a lot prettier than it actually is. Like, if you like high-end makeup and you're not really all that much of a fan of like high pack color, then you might like this. Personally, for me, I think it's a lot to try to work with given the price. And yeah, I've tried other quads of his that I've really liked, but this one just wasn't really doing it for me. But if you like something with mediocre payoff that isn't as intimidating as something that's more bolder and brighter, then I think you'll definitely probably like this. I'm gonna get this party popping, this backyard boogie. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to the brand behind Wowder that partnered with me for this video. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. And speaking of next video, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's about that time. I just sit here, I do what I do. I give you something else for your viewing pleasure, and you come through with the likes and the thumbs up and you know, all that good stuff. Go ahead. I'll wait, don't worry. On a scale of 1 to extra. Alrighty, I'll see you guys at my next video. Bye.